Hey, what's up, guys? This is Dan from Guitar from the Heart, and I'm driving right now, and I was having some thoughts that I wanted to share with you, so just bear with me with the quality of this video, because sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm going to talk about that later, and then I end up not being able to really do that, because it just doesn't come back to me the same way I was thinking about it. So I'm thinking and driving, which is okay, I guess. It's not like, the other bad thing. But anyway, let me turn off this fan so we can get a little bit better audio here. So, this is a thought I had. Pretty much, and forgive my terrible cameramanship, pretty much, I was just thinking about building skills in general, right? Like many times in life, we have to pursue maybe different career path. Maybe at some point you're a student. Maybe at some point, hey, maybe you just joined a band. Hey, congratulations, right? If that happened. And you start, basically you enter into a new phase of life. What you'll find is that you need to develop a new skill set. And what is a skill set? I think that's a really good word, to be honest with you. I think the word skill set is an excellent choice of words, because that's exactly what we need whenever we're starting a new skill, a new role, if you will. And playing the guitar is exactly that, right? You're trying to become a guitar player. And if you're already a guitar player, you're trying to become a better guitar player. But you're trying to fulfill a role, and guitar players can fulfill different roles. Like, for example, I've been a guitar player that just plays for fun in my house. Then I've been a guitar player who plays for fun in my house, but sometimes people ask me to perform for them, like family members and friends and whatnot. And that's a kind of level of responsibility that requires a little more skill, right? Or maybe other skills that the just playing for yourself doesn't require. Then at some point I was in a band in high school with my friends, but it never really became like a performing band, but we just like hung out and jammed and whatnot. Different set of skills. Then at some point I started to record guitar, just at home and whatnot. Then another role I took on was I joined, after being asked to, I joined my church band, and I was a guitar player. Then I became a worship leader in my band. And so I had to coach other musicians that weren't even guitar players and so forth. Then I became a studio recording musician, and etc., right? On to becoming a producer, actually, and learning to record myself at home and to record other people and whatnot. So there's being a guitar player who sings while playing. So for me, these are all different types of guitar players, or different things that players can do, different roles that you can have as a guitar player, and there are many others. You can be rhythm guitar, you can play lead guitar, etc. The point I'm trying to get to here is that any role that you take as a guitar player, or in life in general, is going to require a set of skills, a skill set. So we tend to think of I play guitar, that's a skill, I play guitar. But it's not really guitar. It's not really a skill. It's a set of skills. It's a skill set. So that's why I like that choice of words so much, because it really is. Any skill, what we consider a skill, is really a set of skills. So blah, blah, blah. Why am I talking about all of this? The reason I'm talking about this is because one thing I've noticed in my life is that I have a gift, or an ability, more than most people at least, to kind of take on a new skill and not only conquer it to where I can be proficient at it, but I tend to be able to do it sometimes faster than other people, sometimes not. But most times, yeah, I tend to learn what I need to do fairly quickly. But I tend to also get to the point where I become excellent at that skill, meaning I excel or I become outstanding. I end up being able to do that skill better than most people can. And I think, I have certain opinions about this, but I think one of the biggest contributing factors is the way I approach learning skills. Because I think that most people learn skill, and I could be wrong about this, but from my observation, what I notice is that most people tend to just sort of, they go through life and they learn what they have to learn and no more. And I'm not knocking that, right? Our time is limited and whatnot. But I noticed that a lot of times people, they learn a skill, and we have this amazing ability to be able to learn a skill while not necessarily mentally processing what we're doing. In other words, we have ability to learn things on a subconscious level, and that's just phenomenal. I mean, if you even think about that, like that, we can learn things on a subconscious level, like process the steps that it takes to master a skill on a subconscious level is where most of the like learning is happening. But I think that most people kind of learn skills that way, where they tackle it that way, where it's just like, I'm just going to immerse myself in this and I'm going to learn everything all as one skill. And that's great, and it's the best way to learn, honestly, by doing. However, I feel that an even more powerful way to learn a complex skill like playing the guitar, or like recently in the last couple of years, I had to learn how to drive stick when I'm already like 35 years old. It's a lot different than driving an automatic. So I had to, it's a complex skill, right? It's not that simple. Or I didn't have a lot of margin of error because I was trying to get a job where I needed to drive stick. And learning that complex skill, not having a big margin of error, like I couldn't mess up a lot. I couldn't just immerse myself in it like that. I had to learn it in steps. I had to learn it in pieces. I had to learn a set of skills. And so, since every skill is essentially a skill set, that's what I was thinking about. The best way to approach, or a very powerful way to approach it, is to say, well, this skill is a complex skill, so I should approach it as a skill set. And what's the best way to master a skill set? Well, by finding out and figuring out what the individual skills are within that set of skills. So maybe we're thinking of playing the guitar as a skill, but maybe it's really 30 or 40 skills, which is what makes it a complex skill. You see what I'm saying? So like, if it's 30, 40 skills really, then if you really want to improve the overall skill, one powerful way, and this is the way I approach complex skills, is to bust it down into its components and to try to isolate each individual skill and practice it. Immerse yourself in that one skill isolated by itself. Then you put them back together and see how the whole thing is working. Then you see what's weak. Take out that one component. Master that one. So how do we learn a complex skill set? One skill at a time. One sub-skill, one piece of the overall skill at a time. And that's the way I approach guitar. And there are strengths to this technique and there are weaknesses. At the end of the day, we're guitar players, and it only matters how we can play the stuff in context. So how does it contribute to the overall experience of playing the guitar from the heart and having fun with that is what matters to me. But how do we learn a complex skill? Well, one skill at a time. Isolate one skill and take it slowly and figure out what you have to do to crush it with that skill. Then throw it back into the pot, see what other ingredient you need to maybe tweak a little bit. take that by itself, throw that back into the pot, and overall you're going to shape and shape and shape and shape into a more and more dynamic overall guitar player. And that's in part why, and I guess I've done this on a subconscious level, on Guitar From the Heart, I've pretty much, if you look at how I do my videos, I isolate individual sub-skills and I focus on them. And I believe if you do this and you do it effectively, it's going to help you to grow, particularly if you're a person who is not good at something. Like say you're trying to learn to play the guitar and you're not that good at it. It will help you immensely to maybe focus on the individual simple skills that are within that skill set that we call the skill of playing the guitar. Get what I'm saying? Because it's easier to learn one simple skill than to learn a complex set of skills that are all moving at the same part, like driving a car. So that will help you if you're struggling. But guess what? It'll also help you if you're the kind of person who just intuitively one day picked up the guitar and you just found it easier than most people. I can identify with that to some extent, but not fully. It kind of kicked in for me after a few months where I noticed like, okay, I'm excelling more than my peers. But then I hit a brick wall too, and I felt like, well, everybody who practiced as much as me is passing me. If you're plateauing and you're already good, but you're plateauing, this taking the individual skills and trying to see what's your weakest link, isolating it and honing in on it and improving it can help you massively as well. So if you're struggling with any skill and you really can't, you're just not good at it, maybe what you need to do is realize it's a complex skill set and isolate individual skills, work on them, put them back together, and you might find you improve just a little bit at a time. And if you're plateaued, this might help you to get to the next level little by little. Hope this is a helpful thought for you that I'm sharing with you today, because how do you learn how to improve a complex skill set? One skill at a time. Do that, and I believe it will really help you out in your guitar journey and help you in the process of becoming a player who can just pick up the instrument and express themselves like someone who is speaking a language fluently, straight from their heart. Play the guitar from the heart and have fun with that. Thanks for listening to this, and let me know if you have any thoughts that are related to this, or if this was helpful to you in any type of way. Do you like this type of video? Do you like my other styles of videos? Do you like whatever? Just help me out. Help me to make better content for you guys, because I'm doing this for you guys. So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, if you desire to, and like the video if you like it, and all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.